What's going on, guys? Sam Adams here, and if you have been tuned in to Twitter or Facebook or anything Star Wars or video game related in the past week, you will know that the Star Wars Battlefront beta actually was released across the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, and a ton of people have been playing it. I've been having some trouble getting online on my PC version of the beta, but I've been playing a ton of my PS4 version, which you can check out over here in this corner as we go through this video. So that'll be playing over there. You can check out some of the beta gameplay of both the drop zone mode as well as the Walker Assault, I believe is what it's called. But I made a list of some things that I like and some things that I don't like about the beta and where I think it's going to go as the game actually gets released and how the final product is going to turn out. So first off, the good things. This game is absolutely gorgeous. There is no getting around it. This is actually the first game in a very long time where as soon as I started the game and jumped into a team deathmatch of Drop Zone, I actually sat there and marveled at how beautiful it was. This actually looks like the rendered gameplay that they show at E3, which is normally on a PC that has been built specifically to show off this game at this particular conference, with all of the stuff tuned specifically to make the game look absolutely incredible and the best that it can. That's the kind of gameplay that I'm looking at on my PlayStation 4, and the PC version of the game looks even better, which I still just can't even believe. I was actually taken aback by how beautiful it looked. Second off, the game is actually balanced fairly well. There are no guns that really stand above the others. However, there are some that have different, traits that make it stand out above another particular gun per se, but both guns can be used very strategically and with enough concentration to where everyone that's using every kind of gun holds their own against all the other enemies. I started at the bottom of the ranks and I had no trouble climbing my way up the ladder pretty quickly. The game is very, accepting of the new player, which I thought was really impressive because normally these kind of betas have some pretty heavy balance issues, and it's good to see that Battlefront does not have that. Let's see what else is the presentation is amazing. The menus look beautiful. The font is perfect. If you guys know me personally, you'll know that I'm a huge guy that's really into fonts, but it's a beautiful kind of layout. The user interface is very simple. There's nothing complex about it. If you look at the Battlefield 4 interface, for instance, if you've ever looked in to change your controller settings, to change the volume, the master volume and stuff like that, you'll see that it's very in-depth. It's kind of hard to understand if you don't know exactly what everything means. Battlefield is not like that at all. There are some customization options that you can change that are more in-depth, but overall it's a very simple experience, and it's really easy to just jump into a game and really enjoy the game for what it is, and I really appreciate that nice, simple yet elegant look that the entire game has, from the menus all the way to the actual gameplay itself. Now on to a couple of things that I don't like. The Jedis are not fluid at all. I have to just come out and say it. The Jedis that you can play as are Luke and also Darth Vader, and they take you out of the experience as a whole. The controls feel very clumsy. It feels very thrown in at the last minute almost, like they didn't know how to do the controls for the Jedis in particular, and that's something that really has to change. However, I have to say that in Star Wars Battlefront 2, whenever you could play as a Jedi, or a hero I suppose is the better term for it, they were very overpowered. It was very hard to kill a Jedi in general. You really couldn't do anything to stop them until they either messed up or a whole bunch of people got together and really just focused all of their fire on that one particular hero. It seems like although they are a little bit more powerful than the regular Stormtrooper or Rebel soldier, the Jedis are pretty easy to take down, but not so easy that you don't feel fulfilled whenever you're playing as the Jedi, which is something that's very hard to hit, and very good on the Jedis, other than the fact that they're very clumsy and hard to control at some points. That can be changed though with a patch or a little pre-release buffing of the paint, so to speak. But next, the other thing that I didn't like is that there is a huge potential for repetitiveness with this game. If you go into the beta and you look, you have a couple of missions you can play. You also have 2 modes of the multiplayer side of things, which is where a lot of people are going to play. And there are about 8 in total, I believe, and 12 maps in the game. You can correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, but it seems like the amount of content in this game is sufficient for a $60 title. Make no mistake, you're not getting ripped off by buying Battlefront at this point. However, it does seem like there could be some repetitiveness about a month into the life cycle of the game. Also taking into consideration that the majority of players are going to be playing on 2 or 3 game modes at any particular time. If you look at Call of Duty, you'll see that the main 3 modes are Team Deathmatch, Domination, and probably Search and Destroy or Free-for-all. There are 3 or 4 that are really dominant, and the same thing is going to happen with Battlefront as soon as people figure out what game modes are popular, what game modes are most populated, and which ones are the most fun to play, and so that is definitely going to have effect on this game in the long run. Could I see it going downhill very fast after release? Absolutely, because those 12 maps are going to get old very quickly. People are going to learn them, people are going to get their guns, and just go through the motions. And what really worries me is that Star Wars Battlefront might become a more Star Wars Battle Simulator 2015, so to speak, if you catch my drift. It's not going to be so much a Battlefront game as it is a game where you can go on and play through some of the major battles that have been in the Star Wars universe, and that's not what I want Battlefield to turn into. I like the way it is, I like the way it plays, but there has to be a little bit more depth of content, if you get what I'm saying. Not necessarily a story mode, but just a little bit more oomph, so to speak. Ultimately, at the end of the day, Battlefront looks absolutely beautiful. It plays very fluidly, and the sound design is incredible. It sounds just like you're in one of the old Lucas films from back in the 80s. I'm very impressed with pretty much everything about the game, but there has to be some variety thrown in there. There has to be something that switches stuff up. Now, I must say, as I play more of the beta and as I play more of the base game itself whenever it comes out later this year, I might be surprised and see that many different battles can go many different ways, and there might be a variety of tactics that players can use to accomplish the goal or defeat the enemy. But at the time of making this video and at the time of the beta, I've played it for about 4 hours, I would say, and I have to say that the Walker Assault mode is very repetitive. It's pretty much the same thing every time, albeit a fun thing, but I can definitely see it getting old. And as far as Drop Zone goes, it's pretty much just team deathmatch and combined with a little bit of domination and maybe some capture the flag, really. Those are all very repetitive game modes, and at its core, it's just going to be a repetitive experience. So hopefully Battlefront is going to turn out to be an incredible game with a very minimal amount of repetition. But at the moment, the main thing to focus on is that DICE and EA have really done well with Battlefield. It looks really good, and if you haven't played the beta, jump on this weekend and play that thing, or if it's after the beta, whenever you're watching this video, watch some gameplay because it's totally worth watching. So there you guys have it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, drop me a like down below and comment what you think about the Battlefront beta. Did you enjoy it? Are you playing it at all, or do you not care about the Star Wars universe entirely? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and if you are new to the channel or you've never seen any of my other videos, be sure to head over and check out some of that other content. I upload new stuff like 3 or 4 days a week, so there's always something new on the channel when you drop by here to watch some videos. And as always, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this particular video. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.